Hey guys, what's up? It's Victorian. Today I want to talk about the reason why Blizzard stopped listening to their player base. And before we get into this video, we're going to use three examples. One is the threat change, one is the Mythic plus gear swap change, and we're going to talk about some loot changes. Also, the footage in the background is me tanking in the BFA beta, but I don't have my LVY, my tell me when, so my tanking is quite bad because I can't track what I want/need to track to play at my normal level. So please ignore the bad tanking in the background, but I thought it was relative to the subject. Now, I think, in my opinion, that the WoW community has changed so much and is so toxic that Blizzard stopped listening to their community. That is what I think. This is what this video is about. I think that's the reason why the Battle for Azeroth is progressing the way it is. Now, first, let's talk about the threat changes. I have the Battle for Azeroth beta, and when the beta launched, when the alpha became beta, is basically when they put in the threat changes. Now, for weeks on end, I believe it was 6 to 8 weeks, it could be even more than 8 weeks, I'm not sure anymore. Nobody knew. Blizzard didn't told us that the threat got nerfed. I don't know exactly what it was. I heard people say it was nerfed about 60%. I'm hearing people say right now it's about 40%. Doesn't really matter. It's all about the threat. The threat of tanks got nerfed by a significant amount. Nobody noticed for weeks and weeks. Everybody was fine. Everybody was focusing on other things. Yeah, sometimes tanks were like, hey, there's a mob running around. Maybe I should put a taunt on it. Or maybe I should put a strike or an attack on it or whatever. It would happen now and then. It wasn't really a big deal. Nobody was really having any trolls. Everybody was enjoying tanking. Nobody had any issues. Nobody was complaining about it. Nobody even noticed. That's how small of a problem. Well, it's not even a problem. That's how good the implementation and the change is. Nobody noticed, so nothing's going on. If nobody's just noticing something, it's all fine. For me personally, I think it's a really good change into Battle for Azeroth. That threat is actually taking more skill again. That you can't throw Death and Decay and just run along, and just kite strings of mobs and have like 30 mobs chasing you. No, now you have to decide your position. You have to decide what you're gonna pull. How much can you keep this entire group on you, survivability wise, because you can't kite it. So you have to make nice death balls of 10-15 mobs, tank them together, and make sure that your DPS can DPS them down ASAP with AoE and stuff. I think it's going to be a more fun experience for all of us. Tanks have choices to make, they have decisions to make. What am I going to tank? Where am I going to tank it? How many mobs can I tank at the same time holding threat and survive? It's going to be good. It's going to be a better experience overall, especially for Mythic Plus. The kiting system was something that annoyed me personally. I didn't like it that some tanks would run with 20-30 mobs and just kept on running and kiting. I like to have a tank create nice death balls. Death balls, a group of mobs, like 10-15 mobs, so that everybody can AoE them down and then move along, pick up the next 15 mobs and so on. So I think, for me personally, it's going to get better. So, moving on from that, Blizzard didn't tell anyone, and nobody complained about it. Nobody even noticed. Blizzard tells everybody. Blizzard puts out the news that, hey, we reduced threat. They got hate, so much hate, and I'm not talking about feedback. I'm not talking about constructive criticism. They get hate. Rip this expansion. Not gonna buy it. F you, Blizzard. You destroyed the game. Blizzard are a bunch of a-holes. All the kind of stuff. If you go to the when the changes happened, and when Blizzard put it out, when Blizzard put the news out on the forums. If you go to the forums at that point, it's all hate. There's no constructive criticism. I understand that players do not always agree with Blizzard and the changes they're making to World of Warcraft. But the way to counter that is to post constructive criticism. Now, I want to get to the next example, which is the global cooldown changes. I think one of the things is in here with the global cooldown changes is that I know, because I was following this stuff, because I'm not a fan of it, I'm against it, I really, really do not like it. It really, really annoys me. But in the case of the global cooldown changes, I swear to God, my opinion of it is that I think there was a lot of constructive criticism. A lot. I think a lot of players put in a ton of work, wrote entire essays to Blizzard why this was a bad thing, and Blizzard chose to ignore it. They chose to not look at it, ignore it. But the threat thing, of course the global cooldowns was before the threat. So I think that Blizzard has given up for like a couple of years right now, that they're like, we cannot be arsed anymore, because even though the global cooldown changes are a bad thing, I fully agree on that, and I wish that Blizzard would reverse it the way it is in Legion. I think Legion is fine when it comes down to global cooldown changes. I don't see any reason why they're gonna put it in. I think it's the wrong thing to do, and I think it's unwise of Blizzard to not listen to the player base complaining about it, and their player base is saying like, we really don't like it, and they're putting in constructive criticism, and Blizzard is like, we're ignoring it, we're going down the route which we want to. But I think that's a fault because of us. I think Blizzard is thinking that way, and because of us, because of the community, because whatever change is happening, whatever change is going on in World of Warcraft, whatever change Blizzard makes to the game, usually they get about, I would say, 95% hate and 5% feedback, constructive criticism or good feedback. So you have to dig your way through 95% of shit to get to the good part for anything, because the threat, nobody saw it, nobody noticed it, nobody was complaining about it until they broke out the news and everybody lost their mind. And that's the same with the bonus roll going down from 6 to 5. We don't know why, we don't know what the reason is. Maybe we'll get number 6 from Treasure Islands or from the War Funds or whatever, we don't know. Maybe we don't, maybe it's a nerf, we don't know why. Blizzard is not telling us. It's the same with the personal loot thing, removing Loot Master. Now Loot Master was in the game, or Master Looter, sorry. Master Looter was in the game for like 13 years, almost 14. Why are you removing it? It was never an issue in the game. If you got ninja loaded in pugs, that's on you. I'm sorry. That happens in pugs. Go get a guild. Seriously. I mean, I never pug a raid. I'm always in guilds. I've always raided with guilds. I will never get into pugging raids because I know what's happening there. I mean, I've been there with alts and shit. But with my main, excuse me, I'm not going in there. And when I saw it happening on an alt, and I saw ninja looting being a thing in pickup groups for raids and stuff, I was like, okay, I'm never going in there. Not even with my alts. I'll do an alt run with my guild. I'm fine. Thank you. So, now, that had happened in pugs, and that it's still a thing, is not really Blizzard's fault. That's people being assholes, and that's nothing you can change. The only thing you can counter is to find a guild. A lot of people are like, yeah, I don't have time for a guild. Like, dude, there are so many guilds who are like, because you have to imagine that a big part of the player base who used to play back in Vanilla, or in the Burning Crusade, or even in Royal Lich King, those guys are 10 years older now, 10 to 13 years older now. These guys have families, they got jobs. There are so many 2-day raiding guilds, seriously. So there is plenty of opportunity to go into a raiding guild which raids twice a week, which is what I did for the last 2 expansions, in Waters of Draenor and in Legion, and even in Mists of Pandaria. Yeah, even in Mists of Pandaria I was raiding. No, Mists of Pandaria was raiding 3 days a week. But for so many years I've been raiding for 2 days a week now, and I'm clearing all content, so it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely doable, and there's so many guilds recruiting now in 2 days a week. But that's off topic. But Blizzard, through their Mythic player base, the Mythic pro raiders under the bus, and be like, hey, because you guys are changing from Master Looter to Personal Loot, you're throwing your own player base under the bus right there and then. And there's a huge outcry about it, and it's the wrong change. It's absolutely a decision I don't agree with. I think there's no reason to change it, and I think the reason Blizzard gave was absolutely was something I cannot agree with. But they seem to stop listening. Once again, because they already got so much hate over the last years. Whenever they bring out a patch, whenever they make out changes, whenever they change classes, they get so much hate. Blizzard's like, we're ignoring everybody and everything. We stop doing that. So yes, we're changing from Master Loot to Personal Loot. Yes, we're gonna give you 1 bonus roll less. Yes, we're gonna make global cooldown changes. Yes, we're gonna prevent gear swapping from happening in Mythic Plus. And we're gonna ignore everybody. because we get so much hate for good things like the threat thing. The threat change is a positive, good change to the game. It's much needed, and it will make Mythic Plus more fun again. It will make dungeons more fun again. And you guys are still giving us hate. Whatever we do something which is good for the game, we get a lot of hate. Whenever we do something that is bad for the game, we get the same amount of hate. It doesn't matter for Blizzard if they're doing something positive to the game or do something negative for the game. They will get the equal amount of hate. They always will get the same hate. So Blizzard, stop listening. They throw in the towel with communication. They're like, we're doing whatever the hell we want to. And I think that's because of the player base. I think in the global cooldown changes, I know they got a lot of constructive criticism. They got about so many people, not giving them hate, but so many people wrote complete essays on why this was a bad change. So, but all the hate we put out as a community is made Blizzard give up. That's how I feel. What happened. And also, if we look at the Mythic Plus, and this is what I want to point out about the community. I'm not doing high keys. The highest key I've ever done is a plus 19 as a healer, as a Wrestle Shaman, and the plus 19 is the first time I asked my guild. He's like, hey, can you swap out to Pridehouse? Now I failed the key on time, 19 on time. We got 10 seconds too late because we had a couple of wipes. I asked my team, I asked my guild, he's like, hey, can you put on a Pridehouse necklace? It's gonna help me out. They did it. They swapped and we made it. That's how simple it was. And that's only plus 19. We were 10 seconds too late. So my officially what I've done is a plus 17 is my highest. That's fine. I'm not chasing it. I just want to say, like, I'm not one of the people who will be affected by the gear swapping change. Not at all. But I can see what it does. I mean, even only swapping a necklace made a big difference to us and to me as a healer. So if you're doing a plus 20, plus 25, plus 27s, plus 29s, plus 30s and stuff, gear swapping is essential. Yes, it's only 1% of the player base, but you're taking something really fun away. Your classes are not balanced to deal with all the different... They don't have all the same survivability or the same damage output, unless you make all the classes exactly the same. Removing the gear swapping in Mythic Plus is going to destroy Mythic Plus, and I can actually see when you're one of the people who is playing that, who is doing that with his 4 buddies, and that is your progress into the game. You don't raid. Your focus is on Mythic Plus and stuff. That's what makes you fun, because maybe you can't commit to raiding, or maybe you just prefer this, whatever the reason is. Look, these people, the 1% who are really high, I admire those people. I think they're amazing players who can go through the lengths of farming the right gear to have different sets, optimize the characters. And I think they're a big PR. We're watching them in esports do their Mythic Plus. We were watching the Mythic Plus races on esports. They're a big PR for the game. There are people I look up to and I admire. I think they're awesome. I think they're really good at the game. And I think, and that Blizzard is making this change. A lot of people are calling out these people. Oh, these people are tryhards. Or these people are a bunch of, or I've seen the word artists being thrown around and all that kind of stuff. Hold on, dudes. These guys are getting hate because something is being taken away from them. They're playing the same game you do. Why are you trash talking these players who are really good, who are on a almost pro level, who are progressing really high into the Mythic Plus? Yes, they may be the 1% of the player base. Why are you giving these guys hate? They love the same game you love. They play the same game you do. Yes, on a different level. Now maybe you're jealous, that could explain a lot. Why are you hating these people? There's no reason to hate on them. How would you feel if you're like, oh, I'm looking. Let's say you're somebody who's playing Looking for Raid and you're trash talking these Mythic Plus players. How about we remove Looking for Raid for you? Or how about we remove normal rating for you and we only keep heroic and mythic rating? How would you feel? This is how you have to look at it. We all love the same game. We're all enjoying the same game. We're all playing the same game, and yet something has been taken away from the player base, from the 1% of the player base, and you're actually giving them shit for it. Instead of saying like, hey, these guys are playing the same game as us. Blizz, you should not be doing that. But no, the community goes out hating on these 1% guys, hating on them, because something has been taken away from them that made the game so much fun for them. They got less fun and better for us. They're really disappointed in that. And yet, instead of sticking up for somebody who loves the same game as you do, you're gonna give them shit. This is such a big example of how toxic this player base is. How about, if we're talking about 1%, how about we remove next parameters from classic/vanilla WoW? How about we do that? Yeah, for the people who play classic WoW, it's the same thing. Hey, it's only 1%. Let's just let's remove next parameters for classic WoW since only 1% cleared it anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's stupid. Stick up. This community is so toxic and it needs to stop. If we want Blizzard to communicate again, we need to stop being toxic. We need to have constructive criticism. We need to be open with Blizzard to communicating. And we need to stop with just having these shit shows, as Taliesin and Avatar would say on the forums. Shit shows are not going to help anything. You need to put in constructive criticism. If you can't, and if you can only be mad, shut up. Don't post anything. It's not going to help. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help Blizzard. It's not going to help the game. It's not going to help us as players. If you can only hate and throw shit at Blizzard, don't. Shut up. Be angry, silent behind your PC. If you want Blizzard to make changes, post constructive criticism, post good feedback. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you guys on another video. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.